Hello, it's Ernesto. I'm in the middle of a job right now, which I'm very excited to talk about, but I won't because I have to actually finish it first before I say anything about it, but that'll be in due time. I did think though that this would be a good opportunity to talk about something that maybe you've been hearing about lately, and that's the importance of an orchestral template for a media composer like myself. I'll admit, when I first came across the concept, I didn't really think it was for me. I didn't think it was that useful. I didn't see much of a point for it. But I see now that my needs just weren't as demanding at the time, and now they are. So I have my own orchestral template that I've put together over the past few months that I'm using for my own professional work now. And I figured that I would share with you why it's important, why you should use one, and how I use mine in my own work. First of all, what even is an orchestral template? Basically, in this context, it is a project in the DAW of your choice, in my case, Logic Pro, that has all of your orchestral and synthetic sounds already preloaded along with all of your plugins and bussing, and it's all routed together so that when you make music, it sounds amazing and is ready to be delivered. When I first came across the concept, I thought that the writing and the mixing processes were supposed to be pretty separate, and in many ways they are, but in many ways they aren't, at least in this workflow. And I'll show you what I mean. Another thing I was critical about was using the same sounds over and over again for different projects, but I've set up my own template in a way that I can easily add and remove things if I don't like them, or if I find that I need and want something else. And I'll show you what I mean as well. This will not be a deep dive into my template, like bit per bit, showing you how it all works and is put together. If you do want to see me do that video, give a like to this video so that I know, and give me a comment down below saying what exactly you want to see out of that video. So let me just show you my template in action. So this is my template right here. It is based off of the BBC SO template by Spitfire Audio. You might have come across that on the internet or other YouTube videos, and is altered to fit my own workflow. So you can see it's all split up into several sections, divided into half of the orchestra up here and non-orchestral things down here at the bottom. And if I take them out of hide, all of the corresponding stems for each stack. The reason my template is useful for me in a professional context is that all of my sounds are already preloaded and pre-mixed to a way that I like. And when I'm done with the cue, I can just print the stems, the full mix, the click track, and everything is already set up so that I don't have to do it every single time that I make a new cue or a new track or anything that's recurring for a specific job. And usually for a film or anything else, you have several projects opening because the scenes are cut up in that way. You can start to see how this will save you time, and I promise you this saves me hours every single day because I don't have to worry about setting it up every single time I make a new track. So this took some time to come to. I got inspiration from a few different sources, and the fact that Spitfire Audio provides this template, or at least a skeleton of this template, for free literally saved me, I promise you, years. I know it would have taken me years to come to this template if not for the years of experience that Jake Jackson and Christian Henson have. So thanks to those guys for putting this together for us. I'll leave a link to that template in the description if you want to get up and running with your own. This, like I said, is altered. I changed a few things, but it is in essence that same template. Again, let me know if you want me to do a deep dive on my own template. So here's how I use it. I made this track last week, but when listening back to it, there were a few things that were sticking out in the mix that I don't like, so I'm going to go back and fix those things. This is the original session. I don't want to touch this since I've already made a version and have printed stems and everything, so I want to leave it as it is so I can always go back. But I am going to duplicate this session so that I can do more stuff to it, and this one is untouched. All right, so here is the duplicate. I'm going to delete all of the prints, and since I'm not altering any of the writing, I'm just going to go in and play a little with the mix. What was loud was over here. beat right here. The way my setup works, I have a large monitor up here that you can't see that has the project open, and then my laptop here has the mixer and the piano roll open, and they're on two different desktops, so I swipe between them back and forth whenever I need one or the other. But let me pull the mixer up here so that you can see it where I'm recording. Okay, so this reconnaissance track right here is just a bit too loud when it comes in. So it's already minus 7 dB right now. Let me see. Minus 13. It just needs to be subtle. It was just hitting too hard, too distracting while I was listening to it back, like in my AirPods. Another thing I like to do when I'm mixing is to look at the multimeter. That just lets me see where the energy is really building up. So there's the beat right there. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. And another thing that was too loud are these music boxes here. That one's too loud. Again, I have the piano roll open in a separate window to pull up whenever I need to, but just so that you can see what I'm doing here. Let me just turn down the velocity of this. Maybe that'll help. Yeah, I like that. All right, so I think I fixed that one thing. Now, to take this out of hide, I'm going to print all of the stems. You'll notice that when I hit one stem into record, that all of the other ones did as well. So since everything is routed properly, all I have to do is hit record. Okay, I've printed that. Logic has no offline bouncing or printing for stems currently, which is a little annoying. I know a few other DAWs have it. Hopefully that comes in version 11, but for now you have to do it all in real time. But I think it's a good opportunity to listen to everything one last time as it's printing to make sure everything is correct. There's nothing worse than printing something without having heard it one final time and then delivering that and then it's incorrect because something you missed. So even if you do have offline the bouncing, which is great, do listen through everything all the way through to make sure that it is all correct. So now I save all these stems, I export them as audio files in the correct folder. I already have a naming scheme that I want for them, and then I hit export. Okay, now I have to complete another track that I started, but since all I have to focus on, don't you hate it when you're shooting a video and people are blowing leaves outside? Me too. Okay, nonetheless, now I have to complete another track that I've already started, and so on to that. I opened it up, everything is nice and organized. All I need to focus on is just writing. Everything is in their proper places, in their proper tracks, so that I can put everything together as it should be. So here's an opportunity to show you how I've come to this template the way that I have, and one of the advantages of the way that I have it set up. So you'll notice that in this stack, this section here, 0700, are my leads, bass, and arps. Now my leads, basses, and arps are split out into 4 sub mixes, and they are 0701 leads, 0702 basses, 0703 arps high, and 0704 arps low, and they all feed into 0700. 0700 is the stem, and if I had a mixer or something, then I would send them the leads, the basses, the arps high, and the arps low independently so that they can mix from there. Usually a mixer won't want every single track. They'll want just groups of those tracks together to play with, especially on a project like a film, for example, when things are moving kind of quickly. So I kind of have it a little organized in the stack. They're not in folders. I didn't find a way that I liked it that kept all the routing the same with folders, so I just kept it like this for now. Here are my leads. It's not labeled as such, but here's the section. Here, these are all my leads that I have in here. These are all my basses. These are arps high, I only have one track there, and arps low, I have a couple more tracks. And at the bottom of each section, there's a track that's called open. This is a blank track that's routed to the appropriate sub mix for the synth master. So if I ever want to add something, if I ever want to find a new, for example, arps high, I have the open track right here that's already routed, but there's nothing in there. So let me just duplicate that track and go searching for a cool ARP synth. You know, I think that might be a cool thing to add just sort of as a texture. So let me just name the track what the instrument I'm using is called, and let's see where it fits. Okay, I mean, it's all right. But you get the idea. If I ever want to add or even just delete anything out of my template, I can just hit the delete button. It's gone forever. I don't have to mess with anything. And if I ever want to add things to a certain stack, I just duplicate my open track and add whatever I want, and it's all routed correctly and ready to be printed in the correct spot if I ever need to do that. That's an advantage of this kind of template, especially that it's all contained within one box. I don't use, for example, Vienna Ensemble Pro. A lot of people have maybe like a separate computer that they have their samples on. The problem that you run into with that is that it isn't as flexible because you kind of have to go in and add the routing for several things, or at least that's its reputation. So in this way, my template is kind of fluid. I can add and remove tracks as I feel maybe I've used this sound too much, so I get rid of it. Or I get a new sample library or something and I want to play out with some sounds. I can add them very easily and add them in the appropriate place that I can print them, and boom, I have something ready to deliver pretty much immediately as soon as I add it into my template. So that's a great advantage. Also, you notice that, for example, in the ARPS High section, I don't have a lot of instruments. This template keeps evolving and growing as time goes on. I know that as soon as I put out a video going over my entire template, that it'll be out of date as soon as I publish it, because I'm just finding new sounds that I like, removing things, tweaking things here and there. Because it's such a large template, sometimes you find little bugs or things that are amiss, so that can get a little frustrating with the upkeep. I have a whole separate to-do list dedicated to my ultimate template, kind of just things that I think of or things that I come across that I want to fix here and there. So that's the caveat right there. I do find it fun though to put together a template. I will just spend time at night looking up videos or documentation of how other people put their templates together for inspiration. But a lot of how I arrived to my own template is just how I work and how I like my things. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this project on my own, print it the way that I kind of showed you. Again, if you are interested in me going through a full deep dive, in-depth tour of my template, what I have in it, how it's bussed together, how it's organized, all of that, then let me know with a like on this video, comment down below what specifically you want to see, and I can't wait to talk about what this project is, but I have to finish it first, and then I'll be able to tell you guys all about it. So until then, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Ernesto Composer. You can visit my website at ernestocomposer.com. Thanks so very much for watching, and as always, take care.